Hey y'all, it is Miss G, and I thought I would go ahead and record this one since one, it is a review, two, we're going to be expanding on this, and three, you might need to know exactly what I want you to do. So, this is a no excuses way to take care of that. But today is December the 8th, 2020. We are almost out for break. It's crazy. Also, remember on the 18th that we will only be virtual. So if you have been attending your Zoom classes on the 18th, you will not attend those Zoom classes. We will see you, I believe, like on January 5th, something like that. Okay, that was just a little reminder. I'm going to go through today's presentation. Today, it's taking a minute. Today, we're going to be doing 8.8 DI, and it says we will analyze characteristics and structural elements of informational text, including the controlling idea or thesis with supporting evidence. So today we're going to be reviewing those characteristics and structural elements, and then we'll get into that controlling idea and thesis. Here is our agenda today. Make sure that you do the daily check-in for attendance. Some of you have been very good about doing that. Some of you could do a little bit better. Remember that I need you to fill that out every day. That's your safe way to do it. But you could also email me or send me a comment, and I have a sheet that I write down how you contacted me that day. And then when I put in my attendance, I make sure I count you present. We're going to watch a video on the 5 types of informational text structure. We have watched a video on this before. This one's a different one. The one I used previously was vocabulary, but today I'm going to use a different one. And then there's a graphic organizer that you can read over, and then we have an activity, and that's it. Okay. So I want you to watch this video. Take notes if you need to. And as you watch, pay attention to the names of the 5 text structures and how to identify them. So we'll go ahead and play that video. So remember, the description describes the topic. It's going to give you characteristics. It's going to give you examples. It's a lot like what you would have in your science class. It's going to constantly give you information, but it's describing that information. So I learned that the hard way, unfortunately. When I was baking a cake or something like that once. I got the things out of order and I thought, "Oh, it'll be fine." It was not fine, y'all. It was not fine. But this makes sense. Sequence is sequence of events or the order in which things happen, and it's gonna use these sequence words that tells you. These are not, by the way, the only words that can be used. There are some others that will tell you sequence, but you would pick up on them. So compare is like telling the similarities or telling how things are alike. I'm comparing these two things. This is how they are alike. However, contrast is differences. So if you have something that's black and you have something that's white, those will contrast each other. I just got my hair colored and I have dark browns in there, but I have some blondes. So those are contrasting colors. One stands out more than the others for whatever reason. So when you compare, it's how it's alike. Contrast is how it's different. Okay, so y'all started learning cause and effect a long time ago. It just gets a little more complex. So the way that I always think of it, because honestly, I would get them mixed up. Which one was the cause and which one's the effect? Obviously, the one that is the cause caused something to happen. That makes sense. So the way I have to think of it is if somebody is running in the hallway, which they're not supposed to do, and I would never do this because somebody could get hurt, but if somebody were running in the hallway and I stick my leg out, sticking my leg out is the cause that would make someone fall, trip and fall. That would be the effect. The effect is what happens. Okay, so problem solution. Obviously, there's a problem. They're going to give you some kind of solution or several solutions. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Let's move on. Here's a graphic organizer you can use to help you. Notice the clue words that are used for each type of structure. So if you have a description, here's the definition again. You might use a bubble map. We have used these for planning and such, maybe for main idea details, that kind of thing, because guess what? That's description text. Here are some clues that you would see, many adjectives. So you would be describing how something looked. You could describe colors, shapes, sizes, if something's nice or not nice, if something's elegant, expensive. Those are all descriptive words. Those are adjectives, characteristics, and examples. Compare and contrast. You have also done this several times before. This is the definition, similarities and differences. We typically use a Venn diagram. You can use just a little T-chart, though, if you wanted, or a 3-column chart. And you are going to see the clues of likenesses and differences. And also, you might hear the words also, both, or in contrast, or something like that. Order and sequence. This is chronological order. That's probably the word that you will see on a STAR test. It just means going in order like a recipe. You want to go in order so you don't mess up what you're cooking like I did. Here is a graphic organizer you might use for that. And it just says for your clues, events in order of occurrence, instructions given step by step, order words, first, next, etc., second, third, last, finally, that kind of stuff. Problem solution. Again, it's problem and a solution, duh. Um, and then here's like a little graphic organizer to help you. You have a problem here with the question mark, and the idea would be like, hey, I have a solution that fixes that problem, yay. So you might see clues like a problem is solved or needs solving. You'd see words like problem, solution, and solve. And then the last one, cause and effect. The author describes an event, which is the cause, and what happened because of that, which is the effect. And you might see something like this. Somebody was running in the hall, I stuck my leg out, and then that person fell. That's your effect. You would see words like, you would see words like cause, because, effect, as a result of, due to, and reason. So you can come back here and see if any of those words are in the activity that we are going to do. And you know what? I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. Let me fix that real quick so that you will be able to see it more. And as usual, it's videoing a little bit slow. Come on, little image or whatever. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Maybe I can actually shrink this one in some. And let's go out with a little bit more. Just want to make sure that you're able to read it, and you can come back here if you need to and look for these clue words. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Where am I? Yes, it's time for the activity, and then we're going to wrap it up. So show me what you know. Read the passage and answer the question. There are 5 passages, and I think 3 or 4 questions to each one, but I have provided some things over here to help you so that you don't have to worry about doing any of that. But this one's called Building a Campfire. And it says, sitting around a campfire is a classic summer camping tradition. Before you can tell scary stories, though, you will need to build your fire. Begin by gathering firewood from around your camp. In addition to wood, you will need other tinder, like pine needles, bark, or dead plants to help ignite the fire. Then dig a small pit for your fire and build a ring of stone around it for maximum safety. Place your wood and tinder into the pit and start the fire using an ignition source such as a match. Once ignited, slightly blow on your flame to build heat. When you have a flame, use large pieces of firewood to build a teepee. Now sit back and relax in front of your roaring campfire. Okay, So these are things that I noticed as I was reading, just to let you know how I'm thinking through this. As we were reading, I noticed that it told me before you can tell scary stories, I have to build a fire, and then it said, begin. In addition to, you will need, then and then it says place here, once ignited. So I feel like I'm going through some steps. And if I go out of order, it's not going to work very well. So, which one was it that I was going through steps? And by the way, this is the only one I'm going to walk you through. I will read the other ones, but I'm only going to walk you through this one. Which one would be going through steps? Let me look at my choices over here. It says to identify the text structure used, and then I had put choose one of the blue boxes to go here. So here are your blue boxes. Was this cause and effect? I did see that you have to have tinder to start a fire, but I feel like there was way more involved than just that. So I'm not thinking it's cause and effect. Problem solution, I didn't really see a problem necessarily. I mean, I guess not having a fire could become a problem, but it is not presenting that as a problem. Compare and contrast. I didn't see anything being compared. I don't see anything about similarities and I don't see anything about differences. Sequence. What do I know about sequence? I remember sequence has an order in which you have to follow, like a recipe. So I think that could definitely be a choice. And then the last one's descriptive. I know that descriptive has to describe. I think that would be more describing a campfire itself. So I'm not thinking it's descriptive. I think it is sequence. So I'm going to take sequence and click it, drag it over here. It doesn't really matter where you put it, just somewhere under number 1. That's cool. And then number 2 says circle 3 words that give you a clue about the type of text structure used. It's going to be those things that I kind of pointed out that I was talking about. So I'm going to click and drag one of the circles. And let's see, let me do in addition. Let me do then. And how about once ignited? Should we do once ignited? Okay. And then it says use context clues to write a definition for the word tender. I have already put in text boxes, so I just need you to click where the lines are, and the text box should come up. Tinder's right here. So it says, in addition to wood, you will need other tinder, like pine needles, bark, or dead plants to help ignite the fire. So I'm thinking that it's telling me I can use wood, but I might need some other stuff to burn a fire, right? Like bark, I know is from a tree. Dead plants would burn very easily. So I'm going to say, I think Tinder, ugh, oh my gosh, means, um, what should I call it? Things to help a fire burn. Because, ignore that capital, is because I hit enter. Because, or did I not have to hit enter? Did I not have to? Let's see. Oh, I think I've messed it up now. I don't know. Let's try it. Burn. Oh, okay, because it says you need other things. Now let's say you need things other than wood to help it catch fire, which is what ignite means. Okay. And then this one down here, underline the sentence that tells you what to do as soon as your fire is lit. I have already provided the underline for you. So now you can just go here. It says, once your fire is lit, sit back and relax, doesn't it? I'm just going to make it smaller. Sit back and relax. Okay. The next few I am going to read to you, but I'm not going to do them with you. It's the same kind of thing, though, okay? This one's called Lodging Options for All, and you can always pause it if I'm going too quick. Are you the type of camper who enjoys the outdoors and wants to snooze under the stars with only the cover of a fabric tent? Or are you an indoor camper who prefers the safety of a cabin and a roof over your head? You are sure to have a blast with both choices. If you choose to camp in a tent, be prepared to spend an hour or two setting up your temporary lodge. On the other hand, cabin goers just need to open their front doors and plop down their belongings. Think about where you keep your food. A cabin often has a hinge and latching door, whereas a tent will need to be zipped shut. Hungry animals can usually find their way to both if they try hard enough. If you're sleeping in a tent while camping, bundle up under your sleeping bag. The cabin residents, however, can cozy up with their cots for sheets and blankets. Which lodging option is right for you? This is what I noticed when I was reading. I'm not going to do the answers for you or with you, but as I was reading, I noticed that they were asking me if I like to camp outdoors or if I preferred a cabin. I'm thinking, well, that's a good question. I know there are two things available for me that they're asking me to choose from. Then they continue going on, talking about how both are good, both would be fun. They talk about then setting up a tent versus having a cabin already. They talk about where you're going to store your food. When you camp outdoors, you store it one way. When you have a cabin, you store it another way. But either way, there's a chance that an animal's going to find it. Those are just some clues. You might sleep in a tent, or you might sleep with a cot. Okay, so those are your helpers to help you. Number 1 says identify the text structure used. Again, you're going to click and drag a blue box there. Anytime I'm going too fast, just hit pause. This is 2, circle 3 phrases that give you a clue about the type of text structure used. In other words, how do you know it's what you picked? So if you think that it's sequence, we know it's not because we've already done that one. But if you think it's sequence, pick 3 phrases that are telling you, hey, this is a sequence text. On number 3, write a subtitle for the paragraph and then explain why you chose that subtitle. So what would you call this paragraph? And then tell me why you would call it that. And then number 4, underline the sentence or sentences that tell you why sleeping in a cabin might be warmer. Again, if I'm going too fast, just pause. I'm going to continue. Being prepared while camping. Before you head out the door for a camping trip, gather the appropriate supplies. If you are prepared for accidents, your camping trip will go off without a hitch. However, if you don't have the right gear, your camping trip may end more quickly than you hoped. Sometimes weather moves in rapidly. Rain can dampen your plans, your clothes, and your sleeping bag if you don't pack a waterproof tarp to cover it with. If your gear is soaked, you'll likely need to pack and head home. A scraped knee is usually no problem, but a bloody knee with no band-aids might cause you to trek to a gas station in search of a bandage. Consider everything that might happen and plan well so that minor bumps in the road don't affect your entire camping experience. As I was reading, I noticed that it was giving me things like, let me find the first one. Weather moving in rapidly. So when rain comes, if I don't have a waterproof tarp to cover my sleeping bag or my tent or my area or whatever, if I don't have that, I am going to have rain come into my sleeping area and I'm going to be soaked. Make sure that I have the appropriate gear or this might happen. This is what I'm seeing, this pattern. If I don't do this, this might happen. Okay? So identify the text structure used. Click and drag one of the blue boxes. Number 2, circle 3 words that give you a clue about the type of text structure used. Number 3, write another sentence written in the same structure that could be added to the text. So what could you add to this paragraph? And then number 4, underline a sentence that describes what may happen if you are unprepared. Slide 9. Picture perfect camping. If you have never been camping before, imagine a peaceful location surrounded by trees, a running brook, and the crunch of pine needles beneath your feet. Most camps have a fire pit, perfect for building a crackling fire and roasting marshmallows to layer with chocolate and graham crackers. Foldable camp chairs surround the fire, a comfortable place for families and friends to gather. A tent filled with sleeping bags is often set up, ready and waiting for sleepy campers to rest their heads. You may even see a bag of food hanging from a tree above a picnic table, safe from the reach of nosy bears and other wild animals. Okay, so when I was reading, I noticed that it's it's telling me about the peaceful location because I may have never been camping, but it's very peaceful. It's given me things for my senses. It says if I look, I can see trees. I could probably hear and see a running brook, and I could maybe feel or hear the crunch of pine needles as I walk. It's also telling me some other things I might see. A fire pit. I might take that fire pit and make s'mores, is what it's telling me. I can imagine they set up chairs around the fire pit probably so that everybody can gather around and be warm. So there's a bunch of things that this little passage or paragraph or whatever is telling me specifically. It's using a lot of adjectives, I feel like. Number 1 says identify the text structure used. 2 says circle 3 things you might see at a campsite. Number 3, explain how you know which text structure was used to write the article. So whatever blue box you picked here, how do you know that that is what is used? What are your clues that say that? And then number 4, underline a sentence that describes natural elements of a campsite. So natural is going to be stuff that's already there, like people didn't put it there, animals didn't put it there. It's already there. I see Kayla coming in. I'm going to go answer you in a minute. I know what you're going to say. Fire ban in effect. This is your last one. During severe droughts, so droughts when we don't have enough water. During severe droughts, when fire danger is high due to an unusual lack of rain, many places will order a fire ban. A fire ban prohibits anyone from lighting fires, especially campfires, because the danger of them igniting an entire forest or grassland is large. While it may seem pointless to go camping with no campfire, there are a few things you can do instead. Be sure everyone in your group has a headlamp so that they can see where they're going at night. Bring ready to eat meals that only require water and not heat to prepare. Prepare yourself for more mosquitoes than usual and bring plenty of bug spray. Pack layers of clothing so you won't get too cold by the warmth of the fire. Without the warmth of the fire. Instead of telling stories by the campfire, enjoy an evening of stargazing. When it gets dark enough, turn off your headlamp, sit silently in the dark, and listen to all the sounds that nature has to offer. Camping without a campfire can still be enjoyable. Okay, so we only have one kind left. Um, Choose your text structure from one of these blue boxes. And then this one, we only have one thing to circle. Circle a word that means extremely bad. And then number 3, explain why a fire ban would be necessary. Remember, fire ban was mentioned up here. And then on number 4, underline a sentence that supports the statement, camping without a campfire can still be enjoyable. In other words, how do you know camping without a campfire can still be enjoyable? What did they mention that you can do that's still enjoyable that you do not have to have a campfire? And then that's it. Return to Google Classroom and turn in this assignment. And that's all that we have today. This probably will be a graded assignment, so make sure you get it done and ask questions if you have any. I will see you all on Wednesday. We are almost halfway through the week. I'm super excited for Christmas break because I really need the rest. I'm sure you do too. Y'all take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.